Welcome to today's Catholic Daily Readings from Christus Dominus Bread of Life. A reading from the first book of Kings. And Jeroboam said in his heart, "Now the kingdom will return to the house of David, if this people ascend to offer sacrifices in the house of the Lord at Jerusalem. And the heart of this people will be converted to their lord Rehoboam, the king of Judah, and they will put me to death and return to him." And devising a plan, he made 2 golden calves, and he said to them, "No longer choose to ascend to Jerusalem. Behold, these are your gods, O Israel, who led you away from the land of Egypt." And he stationed one in Bethel and the other in Dan. And this word became an occasion of sin, for the people went to adore the calf, even to Dan. And he made shrines on the high places, and he made priests out of the lowest people, who were not of the sons of Levi. And he appointed a solemn day in the 8th month, on the 15th day of the month, in imitation of the solemnity that was celebrated in Judah. And ascending to the altar, he acted similarly in Bethel, so that he immolated to the calves which he had made. And in Bethel he appointed priests of the high places which he had made. After these words, Jeroboam did not turn back from his very evil way. Instead, to the contrary, he made priests for the high places out of the least of the people. Whosoever was willing, he filled his hand, and he became a priest of the high places. And for this reason, the house of Jeroboam sinned and was uprooted, and was wiped from the face of the earth.
We have sinned, we and our fathers. We have done what should not be done. We forgot your mighty wonders from the day our freedom began.
In Egypt's dust you split the sea,
But memory fades too easily.
remember.
Calf in horror, they bowed to molten flame. They traded living glory for something they could name.
Exchange the fire of heaven for a beast that eats the grass. We crown what cannot save us and watch the covenant pass. Remember us, oh Lord, as you favor your people. Remember us, oh Lord, have mercy once again. We forgot the God who saved us. We forgot the Red Sea wind. We forgot the mighty wonders. We remembered only sin.
But you remember still.
As you favor your people, remember us, oh Lord.
Restore what we destroyed.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Mark. In those days, again, when there was a great crowd, and they did not have anything to eat, calling together his disciples, he said to them, I have compassion for the multitude, because, behold, they have persevered with me now for 3 days, and they do not have anything to eat. And if I were to send them away fasting to their home, they might faint on the way. For some of them came from far away, and his disciples answered him, From where would anyone be able to obtain enough bread for them in the wilderness? And he questioned them, How many loaves do you have? And they said, 7. And he instructed the crowd to sit down to eat on the ground. And taking the 7 loaves, giving thanks, he broke and gave it to his disciples in order to place before them. And they placed these before the crowd, and they had a few small fish. And he blessed them, and he ordered them to be placed before them. And they ate and were satisfied. And they took up what had been left over from the fragments, 7 baskets, and those who ate were about 4,000, and he dismissed them. And promptly climbing into a boat with his disciples, he went into the parts of Dalmanutha. Join us for today's reflection. Jeroboam had a problem. The kingdom God had promised him through the prophet Ahijah came with a catch. The temple was in Jerusalem, and Jerusalem belonged to the rival kingdom of Judah. Every time his people traveled south for the great feasts, every time they offered sacrifices at the place God had chosen, they would be reminded of what they had lost and who still ruled there. So Jeroboam did what seemed perfectly reasonable. He made religion more convenient. 2 golden calves, one at Bethel in the south of his territory and one at Dan in the north. No more long journeys, no more crossing into enemy territory. It is too much for you to go up to Jerusalem, he told the people. Here are your gods, O Israel, who brought you up out of Egypt. He built shrines on the high places. He appointed priests from anyone who wanted the job, regardless of whether they came from the tribe of Levi. He invented a new feast to replace the one in Judah. Everything looked religious. Everything felt religious. But everything was designed around one principle, what was convenient for maintaining Jeroboam's power. The text delivers its verdict with devastating simplicity. This thing became sin to the house of Jeroboam, so as to cut it off and to destroy it from the face of the earth. Not just a mistake, not just a misstep. Sin that would bring the complete annihilation of his dynasty. And the reason is equally simple. Even after this, Jeroboam did not turn from his evil way. Warning after warning, sign after sign, and he kept right on doing what worked for him. The psalm response echoes across the centuries with its confession. We have sinned, we and our fathers. We have committed crimes. We have done wrong. And then it names the specific sin that mirrors Jeroboam's. They made a calf in Horeb and adored a molten image. They exchanged their glory for the image of a grass-eating bullock. This is what idolatry always does. It exchanges glory for something lesser. It trades the living God for a manageable substitute. It chooses convenience over covenant. Now comes the gospel, and the contrast could not be sharper. Jesus is in the region of the Decapolis, Gentile territory, and a great crowd has been with him for 3 days. They have nothing to eat. The disciples, who have already witnessed Jesus feed 5,000 people, ask the obvious question, where can anyone get enough bread to satisfy them here in this deserted place? Jesus does not build golden calves. He does not set up a convenient alternative. He takes what is available, 7 loaves and a few small fish, blesses it, breaks it, and distributes it through the hands of his disciples. 4,000 people eat until they are satisfied, and 7 baskets of fragments remain. There is a reason Mark places this miracle in Gentile territory, following so closely after Jesus healed the Syrophoenician woman's daughter and the deaf man. The bread of life is not confined to Jerusalem or any other place. It cannot be controlled by those who would make religion serve their political purposes. Jesus feeds whoever comes to him with hunger, wherever they are, whatever their background. But notice what Jesus does not do. He does not tell the crowd they can skip the journey. He does not offer them a shortcut to satisfaction. He asks them to sit down in the wilderness, to trust him in the deserted place, to receive bread from his hands through the mediation of his disciples. There is nothing convenient about following Jesus into the wilderness for 3 days with nothing to eat. There is everything transformative about it. Jeroboam's religion was designed to keep people from making the pilgrimage. Jesus' ministry invites people into deeper wilderness, longer journeys, greater dependence. Jeroboam said, "It is too much for you." Jesus said, "I have compassion on them." The first kept people comfortable and damned a dynasty. The second led people through hunger and fed them with abundance. On this feast of Saints Cyril and Methodius, we celebrate two brothers who refused the convenient path. They could have preached in Greek or Latin, the languages of power and prestige. Instead, they invented an alphabet so the Slavic peoples could hear the gospel in their own tongue. They faced opposition from those who thought God could only be properly worshipped in certain elite languages. They suffered imprisonment, exile, and endless accusations, but they understood that true religion is never about convenience. It is about bringing the bread of life to hungry people, whatever the cost. Where have you made religion convenient? Where have you set up golden calves at the borders of your life so you do not have to make the long journey to where God actually dwells? The wilderness is not a punishment. It is where Jesus meets the hungry and feeds them beyond anything they could imagine.